What's going on, everybody? It's Aaron Duncan here, back again with another Panthers video brought to you by Unnecessary Bluntness Sports Talk. And today we are talking about the Thursday Night Football primetime matchup between the Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. On a short week, the Panthers are traveling to Houston to take on the Davis Mills-led Texans. Now, there's a lot of things that's going to be going on with this, especially with injuries happening for the Texans. They just come off a hard loss to the Cleveland Browns, but the Panthers are riding high after a dominant victory over the New Orleans Saints. But regarding this game, we know it could possibly be lopsided, but what are some of the things that we should be paying attention to when it comes to matchups? So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. But before we get into that, like I said, I want to introduce myself again. I am Aaron Duncan, and I do NFL content and Panthers videos. So if you want to see that and stay up to date on the news, updates, and all type of stuff that surrounds the Panthers and the NFL, guys, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and you hit the bell icon when you hit subscribe, because the bell icon is going to make sure you get notification every time I drop a video and you won't miss out on the thing, because I do live streams, different podcasts. I have guest appearances going on. I have guests on my channel and just all kind of cool other content. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. That way you stay up to date. Before we get into everything, make sure you guys hit the like button down there also, because that little engagement really helps me out and the algorithm helps YouTube realize that this video is a video that you like, and it'll spread the word to everybody else. And I also want to get you guys feedback. What matchups do you think are going to be key, and are you going to be paying attention to? Let me know down below in the comments, because a lot of people think this Texas team is just going to lay down for the Carolina Panthers, but it could be a lot more interesting than people are expecting. So let me know what matchups we should be paying attention to. The first matchup I want to be paying attention to is J.C. Horn and Brandon Cooks. Now, Brandon Cooks is the bona fide #1 guy for the Houston Texans, and if they're going to throw the ball in the air more often than not, he's going to get that look. And no other receiver on this roster has more than 70 yards. So Brandon Cooks is definitely the guy. Now, J.C. Horn really hasn't been tested a ton. He had his first pick last week, but obviously there was no Michael Thomas for the Saints. He matched up against Marcus Callaway and Deontay Harris, two guys that are not really big threats. He also went against Corey Davis in week 1, gave up a touchdown, but for the most part, he's been pretty solid. It hasn't been tested because most of the passing attacks that they faced haven't been great. Not to mention the rush has been so overwhelming for the Carolina Panthers that most quarterbacks really haven't had time to find anybody downfield anyway. But Brandon Cooks, we know he's that guy. He's a step above some of the competition that J.C. Horn has faced thus far this season. So I really want to see what this guy has and if he's going to get tested by the rookie quarterback. So pay attention to that matchup. And I talked about how good the front 4 and the front 5, I guess, for the Panthers have been to help the secondary be so good and quality right now. But that's what brings me to the next matchup, and that's going to be Laramie Tunsil, the star left tackle for the Houston Texans, versus Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick on the Carolina Panthers. Now, Laramie Tunsil, this guy is arguably one of the best left tackles, if not the best left tackle in the NFL right now. And obviously Brian Burns and Hassan Reddick both have over 2 sacks this season in 2 games. So these guys are speed rushers. They're all about speed. Brian Burns has added some bulk, and he's going to look to add more moves and stuff like that. But this is going to be a real test. They went against 2 of the best tackles in the league for the Saints last week with Ryan Ramczyk and Teron Armstead. So this week with Laramie Tunsil, it's going to be another test. Laramie Tunsil played the Browns last week and faced off against Myles Garrett. He shut him out. He shut him out. Myles Garrett really didn't get anywhere close to Tyrod Taylor or Davis Mills whenever both of those quarterbacks played. So Laramie Tunsil is a quality guy. He's faced, like I said, high competition last week. So this is going to be a real barometer test for Brian Burns to see really where he stacks up, especially in the national spotlight with all eyes on it. This would be a good chance for Brian Burns to really go from underrated to a guy that everybody knows they're going to need to watch out for. So pay attention to that matchup. The next matchup is, I'm just going to turn it around to the other side of the football, and it's going to be left tackle for the Carolina Panthers, Cam Irving, versus Whitney Merciless, the edge rusher for the Houston Texans. Now, Cam Irving faced the New Orleans Saints last week, and he went up against a guy called Peyton Turner. Now, Peyton Turner, you probably haven't heard of him, but he's going to be a pretty quality player, but he's not exactly there right now. He's definitely not the best rush in that the Carolina Panthers will face this season, so that gives some cause to pause going forward. However, Whitney Merciless is a pretty solid vet. He had a sack last time they played the Panthers back in 2019, and he spent his whole career with the Houston Texans over the 9 years. So this guy can be effective, and he's not really a huge game wrecker, like one of the top-notch guys that they're going to see down the line. But if Cam Irving struggles again, you could hear Merciless' name called a lot. And even though he has a dope name, that's not something that the Panthers want to hear. So this is going to be a matchup to really pay attention to, because that's the blind side for Sam Darnold. And Sam Darnold has been facing pressure pretty much all season thus far, but he's been able to navigate and stand tall in the pocket and still be comfortable. So it's going to be up to Cam Irving to protect that blind side, but pay attention to him versus Merciless in this game. And last but certainly not least is not really a head-to-head matchup, but it's going to be Zane Gonzalez versus Joey Slye. Joey Slye is a former Panthers kicker. Zane Gonzalez is the current Panthers kicker. We all know Joey Slye struggled in the preseason. He ended up getting cut by the Carolina Panthers. He bounced back fairly quickly by signing on with the Texans. Week 1, he went 3 for 3 on field goals and 4 for 4 on extra points. Last week, he did miss his first field goal, his only attempt, but he did make all 3 of his extra points. So it'll be interesting to see how Joey Slye handles the pressure of the huge spotlights, going against his former team. Does he want to try to prove them wrong, saying, hey, you guys should have kept me? It'll be something interesting to pay attention to. Now, on the other end, Zane Gonzalez, he hasn't really had a chance to really show what he's got. He's got a few attempts in these games, but Matt Rule has kind of been sometimey when it comes to the kicking and really wanting to trust them, per se. Zane Gonzalez's first time kicking for the Panthers was last week after being signed from the practice squad for the Detroit Lions, and he has to be on the active roster for 3 straight weeks because of what they did and get him from the practice squad. So he's kind of the guy right now, but it'll be something funny to pay attention to. I don't think it'll be close enough in this game where it'll come down to kicking, but it'll be something to pay attention to just because we'll see what Joey Slye does. Are we the good luck Chuck? We let go of Joey Slye. He's going on to bigger and better things. We will see. But obviously he wasn't good enough for the Panthers for what they needed to do, and he couldn't get the job done, so he's no longer here. But you guys let me know down below in the comments, what is the matchup that you're going to be looking forward to? Obviously, there's going to be plenty more, and with this Thursday night game, we know anything can happen on a short week, especially with the Panthers traveling there at that time. So pay attention to what happens closely in these matches that I listed, but let me know anything that I might have missed. But without further ado, I'm signing off with the Necessary Bluntness Sports Talk. I'll see you next time. Peace.